chaos and confusion.
All right, chaos and confusion.
It just seems like we're at the precipice of everything breaking down. We have a Fed pal who thinks he's in control of everything, and he's in control of everything until a large sovereign like China releases trillions of dollars or yuan into the marketplace. Europe has to do something. I mean, this debt deal they just announced, I was reading through, it's so complicated. It's a promise to do nothing. I just think we're going to see more flooding of heroin all across the financial industry.
In this video, we listen to multi-millionaire, venture capitalist, investor, and founder and CEO of Cardone Digital Ventures, Gary Cardone. Gary provides insight into why he thinks the US economy is soon to collapse, and how the 2024 election might not hold due to a black swan event that could completely change the course of history. Gary believes we're in such a perilous time. Gary explains that his belief isn't based on conspiracy theories, but rather on simple rational logic when you consider the state of the global economy. He provides an insightful look into many of the problems plaguing our society and what he believes the outcome of these problems will be. From the Russo-Ukraine war and its implications for Europe to the US financial crisis, let's listen to Gary's analysis.
Well, I think we have an election, right? We have an election in November, hopefully. Everybody's talking about whether we're going to have a fair election. Hell, I'm just worried about having an election. There's chaos and mayhem going on all over the world. I don't know how a stock market goes up when, an event bigger than 9/11 happened. I don't get it. Seems unstable, sounds unstable, feels unstable. You speak to people that are living in New York like yourself, and I don't hear a lot of happy people living there paying inordinate taxation. And all your billionaires are moving out of town, so your taxation by default is going to go up if you stay there, just as it is in California. You have 22 million people that have been displaced out of the Ukraine. They are women, children, male and female, and I don't know how Europe handles 22 million people. Okay, they're already broke. If the euro breaks apart and the eurozone breaks apart, which I believe that the entire eurozone construct was like paper mache, they have no energy resources, they have no agriculture. I'm not making fun of them. It's just a fact. Okay, Europe doesn't produce anything, and so if you got 22 million girls, boys, and children flooding into Europe, who's going to take care of them in the hospitals, the housing, food, the water? And that was before, or that's after the entire Euro constructs just kind of failed. You slammed 11 countries together, 11 cultures, and you're expecting them all to be held together by some notes that are printed with the name Euro on them. So massive debt. I don't know how you work yourself out of this unless you just flood the whole market and we go, this is my prediction. In Europe, they will place multiple trillion-dollar bonds under the guise of clean energy, and they will nuclearize the entire landscape of Europe. That will then there will be very little imports of fossil fuel into Europe, which will flood the rest of the market, the rest of the entire world. I don't think we're ever going to see $100 oil again. The governments, to hide the abuse of how they've treated, taxation, they will launch a monster bond, call it the nuclear green era, and man, that is going to have severe consequences on the marketplace. So I could see a massive recession, I could see a depression.
So far, Gary has explained his reasoning for why he believes a Great Depression-style recession is certain. Due to his experience in energy, he's uniquely positioned to explain the implications of a potential green energy bill being passed in Europe and what that would mean for oil prices and the US. His prediction is damning. But there's more bad news to follow, as Gary shifts his focus now to the US in particular. Let's listen to more clips from the interview.
Chaos and confusion.
All right, chaos and confusion.
It just seems like we're at the precipice of everything breaking down, we have a Fed pal who thinks he's in control of everything, and he's in control of everything until a large sovereign like China releases trillions of dollars or yuan into the marketplace. Europe has to do something. I mean, this debt deal they just announced, I was reading through it, it's so complicated. It's a promise to do nothing. I just think we're going to see more flooding of heroin all across the financial industry. I call it heroin because it's the best mechanism of being able to print money. It's just too easy. If I was in control, I would print money. I would print and I would print and I would print and I would print until the patient is either dead and someone else has to take care of them. I mean, I think people are grossly underestimating how long this can go on. And that's true of the Bitcoin community. They seem like, hey, this is all going to end tomorrow, but I think it's very difficult to determine how long a Fed can print. And quite frankly, I think most of the population is happy when they print. So it solves voting, it solves unrest. And I think, quite frankly, tightening to 500% from zero in 6 months, that was insanity. Zero was insanity. It's just very unstable. It's very difficult to make economic decisions on large blocks of investment strategy for a family that are based on no fundamentals whatsoever.
Gary has likened the act of printing money to feeding a junkie heroin, and he believes we're headed for a time of massive recession and unprecedented depression. While he's not exactly certain of the timeline, Gary's predictions are nothing short of chilling. What's perhaps more frightening is that he believes that economic woes are the least of our problems. Gary explains that for the first time in history since the birth of the US, a scheduled election may not hold. This prediction, coupled with a damning prediction for the EU, is almost dystopian. According to Gary Cardone, the future is very bleak. Do you think the US elections will hold? To see the latest in crypto news, watch this video here.